Hello, welcome to Dan Really Likes Wine, brought to you by Norman Goodfellows, and welcome to one of the most exclusive wine rooms in the country. This is the private wine cellar underneath the River Club, a golf club that if you live in or travel through Johannesburg on a regular basis, you might not even know existed, even though you'd gone straight past it many times, because right in the heart of the city sits this oasis of green that contains not just one of the finest golf courses in the world, but also one of the loveliest cellars. And it's a cellar full of great South African wines. It's full of older gems and full of discoveries that you might not expect to find. All in all, it's a room I thoroughly enjoy spending time in and having the occasional dinner in. And as you can see, this room is set up for exactly that. And so during the course of the show, I'll do a little exploring and see if I find anything of interest. And that's exactly what I've done during the rest of the show. A little later on, we head to the Cap Classique Champagne and Bubbles Festival as Daryl Robertson brings together Johannesburg in a flurry of excitement and great bubbles, celebrating not just champagne and Cap Classique, but some Prosecco as well, and not just the names you'll find familiar, but also some real up-and-coming stars. That's a little later on in the show, though. While I go off to find some really cool wine from some great labels, here's somebody a little more blue-collar, but making some fabulous wine nonetheless, and a guy who doesn't mind opening a bottle of wine for breakfast. It's Martin Lamprecht and the Marras brand from effervescence. Many years ago in my misadventures in wine, I met a very colourful character from the Swartland called Marras, and it was only a few years later I discovered he was also known as Martin Lamprecht. But everybody knows him as Marras and knows this particular place as Marras, and it's somewhere I've been promising him I would visit ever since we met. And finally last night got to do that as he unfolded in the little town of Riebeek West a collection of rock star winemakers, with Marras himself very much the headline act. Finally, Mr. Lamprecht, I have got to Marras.
Welcome, Dan. Great having you. Life doesn't seem as colourful this morning as last night. Yeah, every sport's got its injuries.
It's a lovely little town. It's the first time I've spent some time in the Riebeek West. I've been to Riebeek Kasteel a few times. It is where you call home, and it does have a great deal of charm to it.
Yeah, I mean, especially with life being so rushed these days, I mean, being out on the countryside, feeling the proper sun on your face, on your skin, breathing the Swartland air. And I mean, it's just that little things about small towns, you know, park your car one place, walk over to the butchery, get your meat, get your bread, get your drinks, your brandewijn, very popular in this area, and back home in 5 minutes. So, live full days without traffic.
Now, the people at this point who probably think, hang on, he looks quite familiar, and this place looks slightly familiar, and I'm sure I've seen it somewhere before. Of course, the world knows you now, not just as Marras the winemaker, but Marras the breakout star of My Kitchen Rules. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, great fun. I mean, with wine comes food, and the two, I mean, it was a great experience. Traveling all over the country, meeting interesting people, visiting incredible spots. And just making great fun and taking in the experience. I mean, unfortunately, DStv isn't airing in Riebeek West quite as often as any place else. So life as normal for us in Riebeek West. No celebrity status out here, definitely not.
You're not getting stopped for selfies in the local agri market.
Unfortunately not.
He had a little flirtation with television stardom, but the day-to-day life is here, the combination of wine and also this spot, this little restaurant, which come together, I think, with your two key passions of wine and food.
Yeah, interestingly enough, when we spotted the property, I always wanted something within the town. Unfortunately, the Swartland is so widely scattered that people don't often stumble upon you. And for the brand being so young, it was important to be on the main street so that people by accident drive into you. Obviously, the focus was on wine to start off with, but then, food was always going to be part of it, and now it's just become this humble little place with great food and dodgy wines, and it's almost like a community center for the valley. Friends and family come together, exchange stories of the week. We even get the local farmers stopping with their tractors after delivering a truckload of grapes. So yeah, great fun, great interactions, great stories. few late nights.
We saw that last night. You brought in a terrific collection of people. Samantha Suddens from Vine Venom was here. Jasper Wickens was here from Sauveur. Blacksmiths, Tremaine Smith was with us. We even had Saki Mouton taking time out from his endless phone calls and emails with Craig Sherwood to come and join us. And it was just wonderful seeing how close you guys all appear to be.
Yeah, I think that's the beautiful thing out here. Most wine brands are run by a single human. There's no offices, there's no big staff, so we interact as often as we can, exchange stories, exchange tips. And I mean, I think the passion out here is all about wine and wine consumption. And obviously at our age, we're always looking for excuses to get together and enjoy some good juice. So yeah, like last night, everybody was up. It was a great evening. Lucky to see everybody.
And it brought together the wine from the region. You had some terrific wine last night, with yours very much amongst it. You laughingly referred to as dodgy wine earlier. I know your wine. I think it was Gavin Dittmar who first introduced me to your wine a number of years back. And since then, whenever I've had it or whenever anybody has spoken to me about it, there is a recurring theme that comes through. This is excellent wine, but we think he's got his pricing wrong, because how can it possibly be this affordable? You've struck a really, really nice space for me in giving us terrific wine that is really not very expensive at all.
Yeah, I think especially when I started off the brand out in 2017, there was a big movement into young winemakers or youngsters, and mostly on very niche varietals, but also at very premium prices. So the philosophy was always to bring wines at accessible prices, so that people, especially on things like Grenache and Cinsault, which still is a very difficult varietal for people to understand and to people to reach out for. We wanted to put that at an easy price, so that people can reach out, grab a bottle of Cinsault, understand the varietal, and then just get a bigger movement for Cinsault and Grenache and varietals, which really suit our climate and is very important for the sustainability of our area.
Now, those are wines I know well. I've had plenty of all of them. What we're drinking today, though, is something I haven't had. And I asked you to give me something that had a bit of difference to it. And you've got something here which, at first glance, says to me, well, surely this is going to be a sweet wine. And yet it's not. Tell me about this and the story behind it.
Yeah, I think Hanepoort, it's got a kind of nostalgia to it with regards to, I think, the history of wine in South Africa. I think it was enjoyed bucket loads by our grandfathers. Hanepoort, obviously normally produced in a more sweeter style. It's just such a floral varietal. And up on Picaneuskloof, we've got a beautiful slope right up against the mountain, planted with Hanepoort. And myself, I enjoy dry wines. Hanepoort being a very difficult varietal to press and ferment. I picked it quite early, just to capture that freshness, and ferment it dry. So, yeah, what you end up with is really a wine. When you look at the color, you probably think it's sweet. When you smell it, you probably think it's sweet.
When you smell it, you know it has to be sweet.
Yeah. And then you put it in your mouth, and it's completely dry. So, interestingly enough, we've got a baboon on the front label. And because this block is quite isolated and surrounded by a wilderness area, the baboons know this is a very delicious grape to eat. And this is actually the only block we don't sample ourselves. So as soon as I see the baboons in the vineyard, I know it's good to go. And we pick it before they can. Yeah, so it's a fun wine, something which probably suits spicy foods a lot. And one of the very few varietals, when you actually eat a Hanepoort grape and you taste the wine, it's very similar.
It is a delight. I remember the very first time I had some Muscat d'Alexandre, and it threw me completely because the disconnect between the nose and the wine. Is it growing in its understanding? Are people starting to appreciate what this is and what it offers?
I think the charm about this wine is that we get so used to drinking the same wines. You know, it's always Chardonnay, always Sauvignon Blanc, always Chenin Blanc. And I think in a sense our palates kind of numb down in the sense that when you know what you have in your glass, your palate becomes almost relaxed in the sense that it's not really tuned in. So when you have this, it kind of lights up the palate again, and it lights up the mind again, because it's so different and so out of the way. Unfortunately, Hanepoort isn't something that everybody runs into a wine shop and asks for. So specifically here, where we sell it at the restaurant, I always open a bottle and share it between people, and you can easily see the eyes and the smiles light up just because it's so different. And then in the same sense, it just drinks incredibly. So hopefully we can have a movement for Hanepoort.
Well, we shall do our best to advance that movement. Going forward, this will be part of your wine adventure. What else? Where is Marras in 5-10 years, both personally and as a brand?
Yeah, I think obviously the past 5 years, 7 years, you kind of reach out and you try to figure out as much as you can. And luckily with time, you kind of see what works and what doesn't work. So for me personally, we'd probably tune in to more site-specific wines. We've got availability of great vineyards. So my focus in the next probably 5 years would be to dial into those vineyards and bring out single vineyard wines within those specific blocks. And then just share the love of wine, I mean, winemaking it's a great thing, but I still think drinking and sharing wine is definitely what I'm in for.
The other thing people might be wondering after your breakout performance on Mnet's My Kitchen Rules, a return to television at some point?
Yeah, I'm sure if there's some swimsuit reality show, I would probably definitely enter that. But apart from that, yeah, I've got a great body to showcase. So you find me a spot, I'm in.
Baywatch, Ribicassia. Okay. On the main road of a surprisingly busy little town that is Ribicwest, you will find the home of Marras. The food's terrific, the wine is lovely, and the company is sensational. Put it on your list. You'll love it. So you have been warned, if you do go and pay a visit to Marras, and I'd highly recommend you do because he's great fun, and if you watch My Kitchen Rules, you'll be very excited to meet one of the stars of South African culinary television. Be warned that there will be a bottle of wine with breakfast or any other meal you happen to get there for. There'll also be fabulous company, as he really is a wonderful character, but also for a gifted winemaker who's making wine at exceptional prices. And do look out for some of Marras's wine on the brand new Dan Really Likes Wine selection with Norman Goodfellows that is kicking off in June. Now, it might not be exactly the bottle Marras gave us that you'd want to have for breakfast, but you're having something early in the day, there certainly are options, and the one that ticks most people's box is bubbles. And if you're here at the River Club, well, your selection is considerable. There's some Paul Roger if you feel like it, a bit of Mouton Chandon, some Veuve Clicquot, a bit of Louis Roederer, some Lallier, or if you want something South African, well, there's some Boschendal down there as well. And speaking of Boschendal, that was on display over the weekend at Inanda, where Daryl Robertson brought her formidable team along to host yet another event that celebrated everything imaginable effervescent, not just Cap Classique and champagne, but Prosecco as well, and brands from not just the established houses, but some up-and-coming young South African brands that are delivering some really, really exciting bubbles. I went along to find out. The results were pretty cool. Blue skies, beautiful people, and some of the finest bubbles in the world. It's another edition of the Johannesburg Cap Classique Champagne and Bubbles Festival, bringing together bubbles of champagne, of Cap Classique, of Prosecco, brands you may well have heard of, but others that are just a little different, meaning you have a day full of adventure with a little indulgence thrown in as well.
So in our range here, we've got the Boschendal Brut, which is a Chardonnay Pinot Noir blend. But also, to make it a true South African, there's a percentage of Pinot Touch as well. And this is an amazing non-vintage Cap Classique in our range. And it offers a lot of freshness, the fresh lime. It is a long mouthfeel, long lingering finish. It is amazing. And the second one will be our Brut Rosé, which is a Pinot Noir based with Chardonnay as well. Also, it has a bit of Pinot Touch in it. and then the Luxnator, which is our demi-sec. And this has been one of the most popular ones yesterday as well, especially to the younger crowd. They were enjoying it very much because of its sweeter sense. It's an amazing, which is giving it all this, if you think of all the sweet aromas. And
I'm glad the way when you said the young crowd, you looked directly at me and clearly looked at me as a young wine drinker, which I'm very happy with. But if I look at the array, as much as I enjoy the ones you mentioned, the one that really has me excited, this bottle here, this Jean Lelong, where it almost makes me think you forgot you had it because it had been in the cellar for so long. This is a really, really special part of what you do.
The Jean Lelong is our ultra cuvée. 100% Chardonnay, it's a Blanc de Blanc. Jean Lelong was the first founder of Boschendal, obvious. And this, for me, it is a benchmark of what a prestige cuvée of South Africa had to taste like. It offers you a lot of characters of the vintage. I'm talking about now the brioche, the roastiness, the roasted nut and all that. But the finer, tiny bubbles, which I think every winemaker, including our Danielle, whenever you make Cap Classique, your higher goal is to end up with, to make up the Cap Classique with fine, tiny bubbles. It has been on the lease for 11 years. So can you imagine that after that, even you look at its color, it's a pale gold color, which shows that it's been on the list for a longer. But it's amazing how fresh it is. You still pick fresh lime in it in terms of the aromas, but the follow through of the on the palate of the toastiness, that roast nuts, the brioche, and a bit of it is a bit of raisiness in the end after you swallow it. The long finish aftertaste on this Jean Lelong is amazing.
Lamborghini, what many people don't know is that the Lamborghini family, Ferruggio Lamborghini, had two passions in his life. One was his automobile business, and the second was his wine estate, which is based in Umbria, in the Umbria region of Italy. And that's been since 1968. So it's a family-owned wine estate. And we are the exclusive importers and distributors of this magnificent range. What we are focusing on here in terms of the range is our Lamborghini Demi-Sec and Extra Dry Prosecco. It is a DOC and DOCG status product, which is valued very highly. Then we have our MCC Rosé, our Brut, as well as our Vino Spumante, Brut Pinot Chardonnays. We have our Gold, our V12 carbon fiber, as well as our Silver and our V12 in our range. One of our most amazing products that is first in the country is our Lamborghini Luminous DJ bottle. Once you press the mechanism at the bottom, it has a USB-C charger, and it glows obviously under lights, which will be viewed shortly. This product, and as well as the balance of our range, is available at Norman Goodfellows.
So yeah, we're at Johannesburg Cap Classique and Champagne Festival. I'm behind the Marras stand, and we're showing our range of bubbles. So we've got our two non-vintages, the Brut Classique and the Brut Classique Rosé, our Blanc de Blanc and our private cuvée, so our flagship. So amazing day, great weather, and amazing people.
Welcome to Crownbeck. Beautiful day, amazing bubbles on offer today. So we've got our vintage range on offer. We've got the Ultra Brut 2017 vintage. We've got the Blanc de Blanc 2018 vintage. 100% Chardonnay day, 100% Chardonnay, and looking forward to next week on the 23rd. It's actually Chardonnay day, so we're going to be popping a whole lot of bottles of the Blanc de Blanc. Really beautiful. We also have our Pinot Noir Rosé here, and the showstopper for today, which is our 2018 Cuvée Clive, which is showing beautifully at the moment. 95% Chardonnay, 5% Pinot Noir, very refined bubbles, very well rounded. lots of Granny Smith green apples, a little bit of that lemon lime zest characters coming through. But we can't forget our non-vintages, which is our classic range. You know, the Brut is always on offer. The nectar is showing beautifully. You know, Joburg clientele, we always have that sweet palate. So we've got the Bliss Nectar non-vintage as well on offer, which is really amazing, but very low on sugar. It's not too clowy, it's not too honey-like as well. Very well-rounded, very refined. So we're looking forward to today. We're really gonna have a whole lot of bubbles on offer, and please come through, enjoy the day with us. We look forward to having you. Cheers.
Good day, and I'm Kwanele Nyawo. I am the co-founder and co-owner of Kulu Fine Wine. We're a boutique wine brand that is based in Paarl on the R52. Today we are showcasing our MCC. It's called Izigidi, which means millions in isiZulu, because of the millions of bubbles that you find in a bottle of MCC. This is a Blanc de Blanc made of 100% Chardonnay grapes. It is a non-vintage MCC, very smooth and light on the palate. You taste a few hints of lime and some Granny Smith apples. We have been in the industry now since 2021. It's been an amazing journey, not without its challenges, of course. We're here today at the Johannesburg Cap Classique Champagne and Bubbles Festival, which is an amazing festival that we enjoy as a brand, firstly, and secondly, because we get to interact with so many new people. We've met hundreds of new clients and potential clients that have tasted our MCC, that have also bought our MCC. Opportunities like this are really important for small brands and boutique brands like ours, because they give us an opportunity to showcase next to some bigger brands, and also they give us the opportunity to meet new clients that we would ordinarily not have met before.
So the festival this year has been amazing. I think the nice thing is that the change in theme with the floral colors, the weather's played ball, so thank you Johannesburg. And the consumers come out as well. I think we've seen beautiful people coming through, people who actually appreciate MCC and wine. So a lot of tasting, a lot of education happening as well. And it's been a great day for the industry in general. I think you've seen as well as a few more brands that have come onto play, like House of Azuri, Kula Wines, and Amari as well. So it's been great to see some new players in the market and growth in the industry in general.
In our collection, we have the 3 MCCs. It's the MCC Nectar Rosé, the MCC Brut Rosé, and the MCC Brut Blanc de Blancs. That's the 3 MCCs that we have. And more of the 3 that we have, the Brut Blanc de Blancs was the most liked Cap Classique, especially yesterday.
Yeah, so this show has been great for us. For a brand like us, taste, it's such a competitive market. So we want customers to be able to taste the brand. We call it liquid to lips. It tastes phenomenal for the price point. It's a French sparkling, shelf price at under 200. So we actually allow them to taste it first before we talk about the price. And I mean, yesterday I think we had over 1,500 people in this hall and outside mixed. So it was super, super busy. We couldn't move. Our stock was under pressure, which is a great problem to have. And for us, it's just valuable that they taste it, because when they walk into the big supermarkets, there's such a range at the moment, and it's such a competitive environment, that if they haven't got something subconsciously to remind them about a brand, or if they haven't tasted something, it's very easy to go to another brand that's maybe got bigger billboards out there, or more exposed, and they've got bigger budgets. So for us, it's a great way, a very efficient way of marketing, to touch a lot of people and let them taste and experience the brand. It also gives them the opportunity to speak to us, for us to explain the story, to explain the product, and guide the customer in terms of their palate on which option would be best for them. And hopefully they leave the event, and next time they walk into an NGF, they this comes to mind, and they go for it because they enjoyed it on the stage.
Well done to Daryl Robertson, and well done to the producers who were on show, and especially our South African Cap Classique producers who were up against some quite established champagne brands, and once again showed just how well we do bubbles here in South Africa. Now, on the subject of bubbles, I'm going to be back here at the River Club in the not too distant future. Look out for a very special show with my good friend Mangla Mlangeni and the Golf for Mandela, the 27 Hours for Mandela Day. It's played every year here at the River Club, giving back for Mandela playing 27 holes to represent the 27 years that Nelson Mandela spent behind bars. It's a great fundraiser, it's for a great cause, and it's going to be a great day for bubbles because we're going to be celebrating with something rather special as well as some wine that's got a little bit of history to it. So look out for that show live from the River Club coming up. Now, the wine that won't be on the show, but which I'm hoping to sneak a glass or two of before the night is done, there's some Vega Sicilia that is sitting here, the Unico, which some of you might recognize. There's a bottle which I would happily say, thank you, Spanish Vineyards, I'll take that. There's a fair bit of Bordeaux in here. I think there's some Chateau Lafite. There we go, the Haute Lafite. There we go, it's the Petit Haute Lafite, but still a wine you'll drink very happily indeed, and a whole selection. And it's not just the French, there's loads of great South African wines. One of the members here is GT Ferreira. His Takara estate is shown amongst the collection of great South African wines, and there's a lovely balance here at the River Club between the best of the old world and the best of the new world. And of course, by New World, we mean predominantly South Africa. So that's why coming here, exploring the cellar, having dinner here at the River Club is something I love to do. And if you ever get the opportunity, and it's not one that comes along very often, then grab it with open hands. That wraps us up for the show this week. Thank you very, very much for joining us. A big thank you to Martin Lamprecht and the team in Riebeek West. Mr. Marras, it was a lovely, lovely experience. And thank you too to the team at the River Club for looking after us, as well as all the producers at the Cap Classique Festival for putting a big tick next to the South African name when it comes to making excellent bubbles. That does it for this week. I've got to open a couple of really cool bottles of wine. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.